welcome to the AllBrands show. We're so happy to be back again and happy to see you. Let us know where you're watching from, what you're working on, and how about out with the old, in with the new. We're going to be talking with Timm from JUKI about what's new with JUKI, top of the line, sewing and serger machines, and we're so excited. And as a very nice distraction for you, I have not one, not two, but 3 giveaways for this video. So during the live today, if you like, comment, and share this, at the end, I will pick one lucky winner to win a $50 AllBrands.com gift card. We'll also be talking a little bit about our Sew Forum group on Facebook. It's called AllBrands.com Sew Forum on Facebook. If you register to be a member, then you have a chance to win a $100 AllBrands.com gift card. And I'll show y'all a little bit about that later. And if you post on our AllBrands.com Sew Forum group on Facebook, then we'll pick one lucky winner to win a $150 AllBrands.com gift card. So I hope you win, and I'd love to see all of your inspiration and what's new with you. So without further ado, I'm so excited. Oh, but hold on, let's say hey to some folks. Oh, it's so great to see everyone from California. Hi. South Carolina. Oh, hi, Marion. And Washington, from all over South Carolina. Woo! Susie, thanks for watching. Austin, Texas. Whoop, whoop. We love them. And Arkansas. Yay. So happy to see all of your faces in here. Florida. Oh, guess what? We have someone else, Susie, from Florida. His name is Bond. His name is Timm Bond, and he's from JUKI, and I'm going to be bringing him in right now. Hi, Timm.
Hi, Barb. How are you today?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here. It's a good way to start the year off talking about new toys to play with.
Yes, and it's so amazing. I'm amazed every day by what the technology that's available in sewing machines. Like, I can't believe they're Wi-Fi capable now. What?
Yes, you know, Wi-Fi's been around for other appliances, and some of the newer appliances are getting into it, but it's about time the sewing machine companies really grabbed onto it and took advantage of it. And you know what? There's a lot of other things in our Kokochi besides the Wi-Fi, and there's things that go with the Wi-Fi, so we're going to touch on a little bit of everything today, or we're going to try to at least, depending on time. And I think you'll be amazed at what you're going to see, especially some of the stuff that's kind of online but accessible through the machine. But I want to be able to show you larger pictures, so we're going to do it from the screen on the computer so we can share it with you, because it's really some amazing technology that'll help you learn the machine and learn how some of the things on the machine work.
Awesome. So don't forget, guys, stay through to the end. Go ahead and give us some likes, comments, and shares, and we'll pick a winner at the end of this presentation for a $50 AllBrands.com gift card. And we're going to be taking it away with the, what'd you call it, a Coochie Coo machine?
Kokochi.
What does that mean?
Well, you know, JUKI has started naming some of their machines with Japanese terms. And the machines are supposed to give you a feeling, or they're supposed to reflect something. And so the terms are designed to reflect that. Kokochi is like a good feeling. So the idea here is that you'll have a good feeling when you're using this machine. And I can tell you from my previous model to this machine, there's some differences that I'm really enjoying with the Kokochi. Now, don't get me wrong. My Sayaka that I talked about previously was a great machine, but I'm lazy. I want my machine to do a whole lot of things for me that I don't necessarily need to do. And the Kokochi really steps up to the plate with those features.
Yeah, it makes me feel all coochie coo. So I'll let you take it away, okay?
All right, great. So we're going to start today with talking about sewing and quilting with the machine. And the reason I want to talk about that is because people often just associate a machine with a particular function. Because when you're buying a machine, you usually walk into the store and you say, I'm a sewer. What kind of sewing do you do? Well, I normally just do garment sewing. And so they direct you to a machine that will benefit you in the type of sewing that you do. But most people don't realize that it's really not the machine that makes it for a sewer or a quilter. It's the accessories that come with the machine that can actually help you in your sewing and your quilting. So we're going to start with a little sewing, and we're going to talk about the screen. I'm going to get it to brighten up for me here. So now on our machine, we have a new full LED, OLED touch screen. It is color, but I'm going to not talk about the color. I want to talk about the stitches and how you access it, because that's part of using the machine, whether you're a sewer or a quilter. Now, a lot of times we think that we have to do something magic to make the screen change. And really, magic is in the machine. So if I want to change the stitch pattern, I just select the stitch number, and it's going to give me the group that I'm existing in. Our practical stitches is where I'm working from now. Those are utility stitches. But if I want to go to another group, I can simply swipe the screen. I don't need to go up to the top and swipe on the header. I can swipe the entire screen like on your phone. Well, there's a relationship you've already got. You know how to swipe on your phone, so swiping on the screen of the machine is going to become natural to you. Now, it's not just left or right, it's up and down as well.
I am so used to doing things on my phone, so that is just phenomenal. I love that.
So you touch the screen, you swipe the screen. You're already used to doing it on your phone. So I'm going to select my stitch pattern, and it's going to present it to me on the screen. Well, there's other features on the screen for me to use. I can turn on lock stitch. So it'll lock stitch at the beginning and lock stitch at the end of my seam. I can have it cut the thread. I can have it lift the foot at the end for me. Remember, I told you, I'm kind of a lazy sewer, and anything the machine can do for me, I'm all for it. So for sewing, we have our 5/8 inch seam mark on the plate. Most patterns call for a 5/8 inch seam allowance for regular garment sewing. You might find that that might be a little wide for some projects, or some specialty patterns might have a 1/2 inch. So you'll find that there's additional markings on the plate to give you those as well. Now for our quilters, I can't get this any easier for you. Our quilters, we can come up here, we can select stitch pattern number 3. You might be able to see on the screen that it's moved the needle over and gave me a 1/4 inch. So now when I lay my fabric in to sew, I don't need to worry about the stitch plate. I'm just going to lay the fabric to the edge of the foot, and that's going to give me my 1/4 inch. Yes, I'm using my regular foot. I did not put on a 1/4 inch foot. Don't worry. If you like to sew with a 1/4 inch foot, they are available, and they come with the machine with a guide and without a guide. But I just like to use it. Remember, I'm lazy. I like to use the foot on the machine. I can guide right down the edge of the foot with that nice 1/4 inch stitch. But how do I turn on the lock stitch functions if they're just a touch on the button? How do I know if they're on? Well, when I touch a feature on the machine, it's going to highlight it in blue. So now you see 4 blue dots on my screen. I've made the machine virtually automatic for me. So now if I was to touch it to sew, it's going to lock stitch. It's going to sew down. When I get to the end, I'm going to touch my locking stitch button. It's going to lock stitch again, cut the thread, and lift the foot off. I don't know how much easier I can make it, but like for me, that's perfect. If I don't want to lock stitch, I can turn those features off. Some of us in quilting, we don't necessarily use the lock stitch, but when I'm doing garment sewing, I want my seams to be secure at the beginning, at the end, especially on a long seam going down the side of a pair of pants or a skirt, or maybe that sleeve down the side of your shirt that you're working on. I want to make sure it's not going to come out. So I'll use the lock stitch in my garment sewing.
That is such a great feature. And whenever you're in the groove, like the less friction that you have to get to the end of the step just makes, I love good tools.
So that's nice and easy for you to get accustomed to. However, sometimes we want to make adjustments to our stitches. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to go back over to my stitch pattern number 1. And my stitch pattern number 1, I'm going to turn off my little features that I have. But down here, I have a stitch length adjustment. And it's 2.4 on my stitch length. Now I have automatic tensions, And my automatic tension shows over here as my thread tension. It's 0, 0 is our default setting on our machine. So if I was to take my regular straight stitch and make an adjustment to it, by making it shorter or longer, the machine is going to adjust the thread tensions for me automatically. This tells you that the machine truly has an automatic thread system, a thread tension system, because it's recognizing that I've made a change to the default setting of that pattern, and it needs to adjust it for me. I find that very handy because now when I make a change to a pattern, I don't have to worry about going back and adjusting the tensions because I made the pattern too short or too long based on the normal default setting. This way, the machine is going to adjust it for me, and I can get on with doing what I want to do, which is enjoy sewing on the machine. So that's a nice feature to have with your automatic tensions. But sometimes we forget what we did. And we like to have what's commonly called resume mode on some of our machines. Well, resume mode will normally hold the last stitch pattern or the last pattern that you've sewn, whether it's decorative or utility. Well, how about 10 histories being held for you on the machine? So the last 10 stitch patterns that I've sewn on this machine are held in memory. I don't need to go find them. I can come over here and say, oh, I remember using this one. I want to use that one again. I can simply select it, and now it is brought in for me to use. So I like that feature that I have 10 memories or 10 stitches that are stored automatically for me to go back and select from. Sometimes you get to working on a project and you used a little bit longer stitch here or a little bit shorter stitch layer, and you're going back to do something again, or maybe you have to repeat a step in the pattern. What did I have the settings for before? Well, I only did that 3 or 4 steps ago, so I can go back into the history and I can recreate that simply by selecting that stitch pattern again. Now, that doesn't mean I can't make changes. I can still make all the changes to this stitch pattern that I want because now this is in active memory. And if I sew it and I go to another one, those new changes will be stored for me. So it will actually track the last 10 stitches, even if some of them are duplicated. You can see here, I have 2 circle ones, and I can delete them or I can delete all the memory, but I've used 2 different settings for these 2 different circle patterns. That's why they're shown twice. Now, they're also shown in order. So even if I hadn't made a change, it's still going to show me both of those to let me know that I've done that twice in the last 10 stitch patterns that I've sewn. Now, you see I can touch the menus at the top also and change side to side. I don't necessarily have to sweep. I just like to sweep. It's easier. I'm kind of used to that with my phone. But we want some fun things to play with also. So how about if I wanted to make changes to my presser foot, my stitch width, or my stitch length for some of my patterns? I have 3 knobs down here that allow me to do that. So they're just easy adjustments, and you'll see the patterns going to adjust on the screen as I make an adjustment to the stitch width or stitch length of that pattern. So the active screen is actually showing you the changes that you make when you alter a pattern. Let's jump back over here a moment and grab one of my other straight stitches because I have needle placement. Needle placement gives me this nice, very cool arc to play with. I can use the knob if I want, but watch this. I can drag the arch to move my needle left or right. Is that not a little bit of cool technology to play with? I got a thumbs up from Barbara, so I guess she liked that one.
We're getting a lot of thumbs up from our watchers too.
I like this feature. I think this is one of the coolest things they've done because sometimes knobs just aren't, you just don't think about it. I like that reinforcement on the screen that I can actually just touch the screen and take advantage of that touch screen technology.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good to see everybody on the show again. Livy says, sweet. Yeah. Eugenia said, that's cool. We've got a good features. Good tools make it easy to create. Mm-hmm. I agree. You are only as good as your tools that you have at hand. And JUKI makes some amazing machines.
We do. This is just kind of like the icing on the cake from our previous top of the line. Mechanically, it's pretty much the same as our last generation, our DX-4000QVP, the Sayaka. But there's some tweaks and some changes to it that really, really make this machine just like the cat's meow, if you will. So I also like to play with some of the decorative stitches, but sometimes I want to put them in the middle of a garment. And I'm kind of worried about that beginning thread or that ending thread. I'm going to show you a little trick on how you can solve some of that simply by using some of the features in the machine. So I'm going to go back over to my history because I'm going to grab those circles. And you can see here, here's my little circle pattern. Now, this pattern is just a light stitching. There's no fill into it, so I'm going to cheat a little. And I'm just going to put my foot over here. I'm going to hold my thread off to the side. So I'm going to put my foot down. I'm going to hold my thread, and I'm going to hit the automatic thread cutter. Now, basically what I've done is I've eliminated this tail at the beginning of my pattern. So that's going to go into my stash if I'm one of those thread collectors. If I'm not, it's going to go into the trash. To me, it goes into the trash. Now I want to sew that pattern, and you're going to find out that that beginning tail is now gone. It's going to be tied in underneath on the back. So the top of my finished sewing will look nice and clean from the beginning to the end. You also see, if you can see on the screen, it tracks. So you see the pattern progress through the screen as the machine is sewing. I can tell.
Tim,
yes?
I love how you're not having to like take control of the fabric to make it go straight through the feed dogs. I can see that with that machine. That's really, you're just kind of touching it and it's going back straight.
Yes, the feeding system is very positive. And if you are having a problem, this has Smart Feed, which is an integrated walking foot system that you can pull down and activate. Now, the nice thing about this machine with the Smart Feed, which I'm going to touch on right now, just to save us a little time down the road, is we've increased the number of stitches you can actually use it for. On our previous generation machine, we couldn't use it for a good number of our decorative stitches, but we've increased that capability in this machine. So as you can see here, I have no loose tails at the beginning or the end of my sewn sample. Can you see that okay?
That's beautiful.
So I want to do decorative stitching in the middle of a garment or in the middle of a sleeve, and I don't want to have to worry about the beginning and the ending tail. There's your little cheater on how to make it look complete because my tails are caught on the back. So that's my nice little finish, easy way to cheat on how to get a clean start and a clean stop. So you don't have to worry about thread trims. So that's my pattern. You saw that I have a lock stitch at the beginning, at the end. You saw that I touched the lock stitch button. Oh, he touched the lock stitch button and not the reverse button. The lock stitch tells the machine to complete the pattern. The reverse button will stop immediately, which I didn't want it to stop in the middle of the circle. I wanted it to complete the circle. So that's why I touched the lock stitch button. If I had touched the reverse button, wherever it was in the pattern, it would have stopped, made little stitches, cut the thread, lift the fabric, lift the thread, foot off, and I would have had an incomplete pattern at my end. Great when you're running out of fabric, but when you're in the middle, you want it to be complete. So you have those two options between your locking stitch and your reverse stitch. Now you notice I'm running the machine with the start stop button because it's easier for me to sit to the side and just press the button and do a demonstration this way. Otherwise, I'm sitting in front of the machine and you can't see it. Well, that doesn't do us any good. You want to be able to see the machine, of course. So Barb, you mentioned some things earlier about technology in the machine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've toned the lights down because of the video.
Mm-hmm.
I have a settings tab and it allows me to control the functions on the machine. Sometimes we like to have a little bit more brightness or color change. Some people don't like to have a really white light in their working surface. So we could change the color temperature to make it a little more like incandescent. I don't know if it picks up on the camera, but now it's much yellower than it was previously. I can also change the brightness.
Sorry, I was excited because I'm like, I get prone to ocular headaches. So that is monumental for me. Ah, what a nice feature.
So for those that want a little bit more softer, more yellow lamp, you can come in here and you can change the color of the temperature. You can make it go all the way to the other side, which is a hard blue. That's even a little hard for me to work with. I usually work somewhere in between, somewhere where it's pretty white, but not quite incandescent. But sometimes you just want to tone the lighting down a little bit because it does kind of give you a glare sometimes when you get tired and it's late at night. I know everybody sews during the day, so lighting is never a problem.
That's
but
not
I
true.
Some of my songs at 2 a.m. in the morning, so I'm a little tired at that point.
I've spent many a nights with my sewing machine.
Usually it's when I'm going out of town the next day and I'm trying to finish something to take with me. So it's that 2 a.m. sewing. And that's a very handy feature to be able to adjust the lighting on the machine.
Everybody, let us know if you're a day sewer or a night sewer in the comments. I want to know.
So also in our settings, we can adjust our stitch speed. And this is how fast the machine is going to ramp up when you're using the start stop button or your reverse stitch buttons. A lot of machines, when you touch the reverse key, it's 1 stitch in reverse, 2 stitch in reverse, 3 stitch in reverse. I need to take 20 stitches in reverse. I'd be here forever. Ours, you can adjust that speed so it's comfortable for you. If you want it to be slow, you can set it for slow. If you're a speed demon for me, I like it at medium or fast, depending on what I'm working on. But you can adjust that to accommodate the way you like to sew and use your machine. Remember, the machine is yours and you want to be able to enjoy it. So why not be able to set it for the way you do your sewing? You notice everything I'm doing is really on the touch screen. I'm really not touching too much of the other buttons on the screen. Presser foot lifting height, I can adjust the presser foot lifting height. Let's say I'm working on a bulky project and I want more space to slide my project under. I can have it lift 10 millimeters off the plate when it raises up. That's very handy when I'm working on big things or I'm working on something crafty like a bag or something. Speaking of bags, how many of you are craft sewers and you worry about how much power you have in a machine? Kokochi has plenty of power, and I told Barbara earlier, I have a project that I'm doing as a prototype for my niece, who usually helps me with my video working today, but she has the day off. And this, maybe I'll put the light over this way a little bit more. I don't know if everybody can see this. This is the inside of a bag I'm working on. This is a synthetic suede. It is fused to Interfoam. I don't know if y'all know what Interfoam is. It's this real foamy substance that you can put into handbags and things. So I've got 2 layers of Interfoam and 2 layers of the synthetic suede, another layer of the synthetic suede, and then here I've got a pocket that is double folded here and here, giving me 3 layers here and 6 layers on the top.
Woo! That's a lot.
All the way through without missing a beat on the Kokochi. It just sewed through it like it was butter, and I had no problems. And I was not using Smart Feed, which I thought was really amazing because I was almost tempted just to pull it on just to have it as a safety, but it went through the machine with no problem. So there's plenty of power in the machine, and I didn't need to bring in the Smart Feed system.
Yeah, it's so tough. It's when crafts, we got Carolyn says, mending jeans. Yeah, so everybody's like, whenever you get all those seams together, they add up. And then when you fold them on top of each other, it doubles that. So the feed dogs make a big difference.
They do. And not only the feed dogs, but how they move. Now, remember, ours is a box. Yep, see?
What is that?
Ours is a box feeding system. So the feed dogs come straight up, pressure against the fabric, and they move the fabric through the machine. Older machines, and some of the newer machines, they come up and they're a little rounded on that front corner. So they're already starting to move back before they've reached their height. You want positive traction against the fabric. So when they come straight up as a box and they move it straight through the machine, you know that you're going to get more even feed. That is also one of the reasons why I like using the A-foot and my number 3 stitch for my quilt piecing, because I'm using all the feed dogs. When I use the center needle, I'm not using the right-hand feed dogs for doing my piecing. I've heard people complain about my fabric walks a little bit when I'm doing my 1/4 inch piecing. That's because not all the feed dogs are being used. The fabric is only getting hit on the one long side, and then it's getting the helpers in the middle. But if you use this number 3 stitch and you use the A-foot, you'll be using all the feed dogs to move the fabric through the machine. So you saw when I was sewing this decorative pattern how easily it moves straight through. It's the same when you're doing your piecing for your quilting, or if you don't like using the A-foot, you might consider using another foot that will give you that capability so that you can take advantage of all the feed dogs. Another one of my little sayings, Barbie, I think you'll probably like this one. I paid for all the feed dogs. I want to use them.
Yeah, really. And I see what you mean about having, I can see how having a feed system, like your feed dogs, that's what pulls the fabric backward, how it when it doesn't chomp the fabric from the beginning, right, pull it back and then let go and then chomp it and pull it back. I can see how that could create slippage when you're working, like, because you said suede and then that foam material, like all combined together.
Yep.
Let us know in the comments what kind of crazy material you work on that you have trouble with.
So, you know, I talked about the foam before, and I talked about the suede, but what I didn't tell you was that it's also there's a layer of embossed faux leather in there as well. That was another one that I thought I might have a problem with because it's kind of slippery. But it didn't, because the backing of it, and normally you're sewing with the face side together, so the facing is generally not against your feed dogs. The backing of that is a suede also. So it actually gave it better traction moving through the machine. So don't think that if it's got suede or doesn't have suede, it's going to feed through evenly. You're going to be checking out which is the best way to sew those combinations together. I like to think that we can figure it out on our own, but sometimes you need a little help. And that's where a tutorial might be of some assistance for you, or something on the machine might be some assistance to you. You know, Barbara, speaking of tutorials, I want to show them one of those little tricks on the screen that's available as the assistance portion from the machine. So if you give me a moment to switch cameras here and switch screens.
Yeah, sure.
Like this is kind of a neat trick.
So while he's switching screens, I'm checking the comments. And for crazy material from Teresa, she says vinyl. And we got a lot of comments from folks that commented if they're a day sewer and a night sewer. And there were a lot more night sewers than what I anticipated us having. So let's see. Here's one from June that's so cute. I sew day or night. I like to get my projects done, so I just keep going. Thank you for that inspiration, June. Okay, Tim, you ready?
I'm ready. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Is the screen coming up for you?
No, I see your sewing machine.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So while he's sharing his screen, I want to remind everybody that we have 3 giveaways for this video. So the first one you can enter during this video. All you have to do is like, comment, and share, or if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. And at the end of the broadcast, I will pick one lucky winner to get a $50 AllBrands.com gift card. We ship all over the world. You wouldn't believe where we get orders from. Cirque du Soleil in Canada. Oh my gosh, we ship to the UK and Australia. There's tons of sewers in Australia. Can you believe it? Germany, just all over the world. So we hope that you check us out online on our website there. The second way to win, oh, I see you now, but let me just remind them, if you join our AllBrands.com Sew Forum group on Facebook, I'll announce a winner tomorrow for a $100 gift card. And if you post a project on AllBrands.com Sew Forum on Facebook, I will pick a winner tomorrow for a $150 gift card. So good luck there. And JUKI, Tim.
Yes.
Your name's not JUKI. Your name is, I'll bring you in. All right, we can see your screen now.
All right, great. So one of the things about new machines and their technology is the support level that comes with them. So with our new JUKI Kokochi, one of the things we have is Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi not only gives you availability to connect to the internet to get information about the machine, but we also give you an option to get information on your smartphone or for your tablet by providing QR codes. Now, I'm going to show you one of these little videos that is accessible from using the code that you've scanned into your phone or your tablet. I pulled it up on the PC so that you can have a nice, good view of it. And this is the technology level that I was talking about relating to supporting your machine. This particular is showing you threading the machine. And I'm going to touch on my screen because I can zoom in so I can see the picture and see what's going on better. Now this is an animation of the needle threader. but I really can't see too much because I'm stuck on one view. And as Barbara and I talked about earlier, a lot of videos only have 1 or 2 camera angles. Well, how about if we give you almost infinite camera angles so that you can see how the needle threader works from different angles? This will give you a better understanding of how to do things on the machine or how something on the machine works. As you can see here, it's still playing the video for me on how to use the needle threader, but I've changed the angle so that I can see how the parts interact. What am I supposed to be looking at here? This is just a really cool technology piece. You can actually enlarge a little bit more so you can see it. I find that the help that's referenced on these videos is absolutely amazing technology to be able to sit and see from different angles. I'm not stuck with trying to figure out what they're trying to show me because I only have one angle to look at. What do you think, Barb?
Where do we access this video?
This is one of those videos that's accessible through the Wi-Fi connection in the machine. So when you connect your machine to Wi-Fi, it gives you the JUKI Sewing Net. And I will tell you, Barb, today I'm having a little Wi-Fi issue in my house. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be connected or not.
I hear you there. Our providers.
I put a new system in a couple of weeks ago and it's worked fine. And now all of a sudden it's giving me little fits.
It only happens when you're on a Facebook Live, I promise.
Of course. Yep. But what happens is you go over to the JUKI Sewing Net window, and I'm going to switch the screen so you can kind of see what it looks like on the machine itself. There we go. Can you see that okay?
Oh, I'm muted. I see your machine right now, Tim.
Okay, good. Now I'm gonna walk back over here and have a seat. So our last option on our sweep, left and right on our screens, is our JUKI Sewing Net. And this normally comes up and gives you options, but like I said, my Wi-Fi is acting up today. That's why my computers are all on Ethernet cables. That way I don't have to worry about not being able to give you, information. But I like the fact that I can just sweep left and right. I can go through and look through different items under the settings, and I have support built into the machine as well. So even if I don't have Wi-Fi in my house, there's still support built into the machine. So if I wanted to come over here and I wanted to see about editing a pattern for horizontal or vertical, or maybe I just want to change the elongation size, I have information built into the machine. The book is actually in the machine to help me learn the machine faster, be more comfortable with it, and thereby enjoy my sewing more, because it should be enjoyable. Anything you have to work at, that's not the machine for me. Like I said, I'm lazy. The more the machine does for me, the better off I am.
So would you say that Kokochi, Kokochi,
I didn't have to break you of that habit, Barbara.
Do you get a good feeling when you're sewing on the machine?
Yes. I've always liked my JUKIs as we've progressed with them. Remember, I wasn't always a rep. I was a dealer. So I used to sell them. We used to sell the 300s, 400s, 600s. And I always liked the way they stitched. The stitch quality was there. The power was there. Ease of use was there. And as they've made changes and they've progressed, I've seen those changes as a dealer. Now I see them as a rep, and I have a little bit more time to sew sometimes. So I get to actually play with the machines. And yes, the technology has changed. They have progressed in technology and the machines. They've made them easier to use.
I love it. I love it so much.
So you can see here, this one, there's a whole section just on history. So I can go in here and find out just what the history is on it. So I have lots of information built into the machine as far as the technology of using it and operating the machine. Now, it's not going to teach me how to sew.
So we had a very long comment, so I had to read it before I post it, but it's definitely post-worthy. Jennifer Allen says, I don't know about y'all, but when you get a new machine, especially one like this with so many awesome features. It's like bringing home a new baby. You want to play with it all the time, spend all your time with it, and show it to all your friends and family. And yes, I agree. And why not? It's a new year, out with the old, in with the new.
There you
And
go.
if you're not happy with your current machine, there is so much available in technology today. So I'm so happy that you showed us that. So there's one JUKI that's one of my favorites. It's near and dear to my heart. Maybe you can see it right here.
I'm sure you're talking about the 735 Serger, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I absolutely love that machine. It is phenomenal. I'll just bring it on the screen for you real quick. And
you know, for sewers, there's nothing better than having a good sewing machine and a good serger to go with it. You know, we have overcasting stitches on our sewing machines, but they're just not the same as we have on our sergers. So a good sewer, you'll want both of those machines. You know, there's nothing wrong with having a couple of machines. How many of you have more than 5? That's you know,
no one has to know.
You have.
So I don't endorse products that I don't absolutely love, and I believe that this is the best. This is actually my mom's, and I took it from her, and she's had it for several years, and it's I love it because it has everything all in one. It has cover hem, it has the chain stitch, and it's a 5-thread serger. It does all of those amazing stitches. I have actually open on my screen. I can show you the different stitches that this machine does. It is phenomenal. So let's, oops, presentation mode. Let's see. Just a moment. Okay. All right. So that's the one that you just showed, the DX-4000. That's the top of the, that's the, I would say the top of the line sewing quilting machine. And you didn't even know that little dot right there is the hole for the knee lifter, which is perfect for quilting. But this is the 3-thread chain, cover hem.
Cover hem.
Yeah. So this stitch is what everybody needs for so many things. I actually use the cover hem more in garment construction than I do the actual overlock stitch. Am I crazy, or does how many of you use a cover hem machine? And definitely when you're using like stretchy fabrics, it's perfect, but it makes your seams so much more professional. This is the rolled hem that it does. It's beautiful rolled hem. This is the regular cover hem stitch. If you look down at your shirt, you probably have one on it. So if you're doing construction with a serger, I think cover hem is so important.
And there's a guide to help you get that nice and even folded up edge with a cover hem. So you don't have to worry about, oh, how much do I have to fold? Do I need to pin it? Well, if you want to pin it, you can, but that kind of takes away the speed that you get from using a serger. So some of the attachments that you would find handy, one of those would be a guide for that cover hem stitching.
Yeah, and there's so many attachments for this machine, and I'll get to that in just a second. This is a 5-thread safety stitch. So it's got the regular 4-thread overlock on the edge, and then you'll see the extra chain stitch right below it, so it secures it even more. And you know how I learned what a chain stitch was, Tim?
A bag of dog food?
Yes. So on a bag of dog food, that's a chain stitch. So that's what a serger makes, because it doesn't have a bobbin. It's a little bit different. So it makes that chain stitch, which does the chain stitch give it stretch as well?
It does give it a little stretch. However, your chain stitch is actually the replacement for your lock stitch on a serger. That's why you can use the stitch pattern you have displayed there for doing your garment construction. So that chain stitch becomes your seam, and your overcasting becomes the stabilization of the edge of your fabric. So you've saved yourself time by using a 5-thread serger to do your garment construction.
Yes, I'm learning too. Thank you. I used that stitch. Thank you, Tim. So here's some other ones that it does: 2 and 3 needle bottom cover stitch, chain stitch only, and then there's another example of the 5-thread safety stitch. So your sergers can do so much, but I would say that the cover stitch is generally used on the sleeves and bottom of shirts and hemming the bottom of like leggings and things like that. What other functions would you use a cover stitch for?
Well, sometimes, well, on the example you have displayed there, they're using it strictly for decorative use. You see, so you load on pre-thread it in the chain looper underneath and you stitch it out. That becomes your decorative stitching. Or you load it into a single chain stitch where you're having the chain stitch mode. That becomes your decorative stitching because you're actually using the bottom of what you would consider, or the wrong side. But there is no right or wrong when you put decorative thread in. It's whichever side you want it to be. That's the purpose that you're setting it up for. Now, we also use our cover stitch for other things, but most people use their cover stitch or cover hem machine for exactly that, hemming sportswear. It's very effective and very easy to hem t-shirts, leggings, any type of knit fabric. Jersey is especially good to run through the machine. And you're going to find that your serger or your cover hem will run faster than your sewing machine. So you will become more comfortable with, oh, I can just sit up and do it and have my hem done in just a matter of a few minutes once your machine is set up. Most people leave their machine set up if they're working on a project for a particular step. So if I'm working on a t-shirt and I'm doing cover hem, I'm going to set my 5-thread serger to be cover hem until I'm done with the project.
Yeah, Anne made a good comment. Jeans are usually constructed with a safety stitch.
Oh, yes. If you look on the inside of jeans, you'll notice they have a lot of chain stitch in there also. The side seams especially have serged and a chain stitch inside this, inside the leg seams also. And that kind of depends on the brand though. But the better ones, you'll find they have a chain stitch and an overcast.
Yeah, and I love this serger so much. So let me, I'll show you. It does 3-thread cover stitch, 2-thread chain stitch, 5-thread safety stitch, 4-thread overlock, 3-thread flat lock, 3-thread narrow overlock up to 4 millimeters, 3-thread rolled hem, 3-thread overlock, 2-thread rolled hem, and 2-thread overcast, all in one machine. Yes, sirree. I think that machine makes me feel good. And there's so many different optional feet that you can get with it. So you can do blind stitch. You can sew a serge in your elastic, cording, beading, gathering, piping, blind stitch, and purled edging. This machine is phenomenal. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So I just had to show this machine because it is my absolute favorite. I hope.
Are you going to give it back to your mom?
No, absolutely not. Oh goodness.
Well, I guess you'll have to get her own then.
So there's one more machine that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, you know, we have a limited edition machine that we've recently released. It's got limited availability, not only currently, but globally. There's only so many of these machines going to be made. 2,000 of these machines will be made and available in the US only. But there's some other things I want to talk about with the machine as well. So if you can throw up that picture for me, Barbara.
Oh, yeah. Hold on just a second. Let me find it. Here it is. There we go.
There we go. That's the TL2020PE. It's our Platinum edition. Now, you think, oh, it's just another TL machine. Well, it's all platinum color. So it's all this nice silver gray color with a little bit of metallic flaking to it. The tray, the extension table, is also silver, so it matches the machine. But what really sets this machine apart from some of our other machines is the fact that you get 2 boxes of accessory feet. There are more accessory feet that come with the limited edition than what come with our TL18 or our TL2010Q model. Both of those are very popular and they have their own features, but these feet are available for those, but they come with this particular model on this limited edition. There's one other interesting thing about this. When you register with this machine for your warranty, JUKI will send you a certificate of authenticity serialized for you with your name and signed by the president for you to keep as part of your limited edition, platinum edition machine.
Wow.
So I've really liked this machine. I just got mine the other day. And of course, you know, I got it Tuesday. I unboxed it. I did an unboxing video. And then I got a call Wednesday. I have good friends. Yes, I've already loaned it out. I didn't even get to stitch on it, but I loaned it out for someone to use it for a project. They kind of fell in love with it. They were a little hesitant because they were like, ooh, it's silvery gray. And I'm like, just go sew on it. And they were just amazed that it's like every other TL machine, sewing-wise, strength-wise, easy to use. It'll give us years and years of service. And I actually bought mine because I wanted the silver color.
I hear you.
Everybody can have a Hope machine. I wanted the silver machine. So that's why I bought mine. And like I said, I haven't even sewn on mine yet. I loaned it out to somebody else. So they actually got the first stitch on that machine.
Oh,
it's a very good combination. Do you have a special on them or
We do. It's actually available for pre-order. I know everybody kind of knows these days sewing machines are very high demand. And this one is definitely in that list of high demand. So we have a purchase order in with JUKI for this, and we're just waiting for it to arrive. Do you know about when that would be?
I don't have any dates on our next shipments. Our first shipment came in and got allocated out. And actually our first two shipments came in and got allocated out to the dealers. So now we're waiting on the next couple of batches to come in. Yeah. Probably this month sometime.
Yeah. So if you want to pre-order that, I'm sure we already have a PO in, but we'll talk about that after the event, after the broadcast.
And so remember, Barbara, it's a limited edition machine. So once we've gone through the 2,000 that are coming to America, that's it. There will be no more made. So if you're even interested, you might want to consider pre-ordering one just to make sure you get it.
Yeah, so it's a silvery color. So if you're familiar with so popular, everybody knows the TL 2010 machine that has, and this one has the foot pedal thread trimmers on it.
Yes, it does.
I love that feature. It's like you can really get into the groove on this machine because you use your E-lift and it does that high speed straight stitch only, and it's perfect stitch quality. And then you just it's one that you can really get in the groove on, and it's got the longer neck. So if you have both of these machines have long necks. This one's got about is it
9 inch?
9 inch?
That's about a 9 inch. And our Kokochi is 12 inch.
Yeah, so you can fit your quilts underneath. So I love that. Yep. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Sure, my pleasure. You know, I've got another feature on the Kokochi I want to show you.
Okay.
And we're going to need to change our camera views.
Got it. So let's go ahead, and I am going to show you guys again our giveaway that we have. It's the $50 AllBrands.com gift card. So we'll be doing that in about 10 minutes. So make sure you like, comment, and share this video to be eligible to win. And I'll also let you guys know a little later how to win a $100 gift card or how to win a $150 gift card. So Tim, you ready? All right.
Okay, I'm good.
Got it.
So here we go with some of our specialty sewing. And in our specialty sewing, sometimes we want that beautiful, perfect straight stitch. This machine has an interchangeable throat plate to change from regular zigzag and decorative sewing to straight stitch mode. And the only reason we need a screwdriver to do it is to pry the plate up. So where you pry our plate up, the machine is going to beep and tell me that it's got a throat plate coming off. But before I pop this all the way off, I'm going to tell you a little trick I found, and that is if I take my foot off, I have a little bit more space to work. Now, I do need to be careful that I'm not going to drag across my needle, but my ankle is hanging lower than my needle, so I should be okay. But if you're a little clumsy with your machine, you might consider taking the needle out as well when you do this trick. So you pop it up and slide it out to the side. So now I can put my straight stitch plate on, but first I have to change out my feed dogs. And by changing out our feed dogs, we're actually going to install professional style feed dogs that are like the TL machine. Well, what do you think of that, Barb? I can match the feed dogs of my TL machine and get the same movement to move my fabric that I have on the TL machine in my Kokochi.
I love those feed dogs, and they're available for the Sayaka and the Kyrie too, which are the models before this one. And I've just loved experiencing the straight stitch with the straight stitch feed dogs and the regular feed dogs. Now, even though you change the feed dogs, you still get the box feed.
Oh yeah, the movement of the feed dogs does not change. We're only taking out the feed dog piece. This snaps in and snaps out, whether I have the zigzag foot on or the straight stitch professional style feed dogs. They snap in and out. They have no bearing on how they move because that's controlled by the mechanisms inside the machine, which we don't touch. So all we're actually doing is taking off this top piece and replacing it. So we maintain our box feed, and this is how we can take this machine and make it sew like our TL machine does with that straight stitch plate. Also, if you notice on the screen over here, which you probably can barely see, is it tells me to set the throat plate. It knows that I don't have a throat plate on there. And if I change my feed dogs and I put the straight stitch plate on, it's going to limit me as to the stitches I can use because it knows that it's only set for straight stitching. I can't make a mistake. That's another feature of the machine that I like because, remember, I'm lazy. I don't have to worry about making a mistake and selecting the wrong stitch pattern because I've got the wrong plate on there. I cannot put the straight stitch plate on with the zigzag feed dogs. I cannot put the zigzag plate on with the straight stitch feed dogs. So you really cannot make a mistake with it.
Yeah, I love that. Everyone's saying great feature. I don't know of any other machine where you can change out the feed dogs like that. That is just so cool. It's a cool tool to have for the new school of sewing, right?
Yeah.
So while you switch back over, Tim, I'm going to go ahead and announce the winner of the $50 gift card, and then I'm going to show everybody sew for them and show them how to win the other gift card. So let's see. I am going to pick a winner. Let's try to be fair. And I'm going to put it into my computer program here. And the winner is, and I hope you're still watching, is, I'm going to post the winner's name here. Congratulations, Win! Thank you so much for watching, and go ahead and direct message allbrands.com through Facebook, your name and email address, and I'll go ahead and email you a redemption code for that coupon. So don't forget, we have two more that I'll announce in just a moment, but we're gonna bring Tim back in and say thank you so much for coming on the show, Tim.
Oh, you're quite welcome. It's my pleasure. Anytime.
It's always wonderful to have you on the show. And I gotta say, that machine is 50% off of list price. Just to recap, not quite 50% on the Kokochi, but on the one that I have, my goodness. So list price $6,000, only $39.99, and you can finance that for 12 months. And if there's no sales tax, if you live outside of Louisiana or Texas and buy it online, it's only $83 per month. Hello, No brainer. Out with the old and with the new. If you don't like your sewing machine, life is too short, right?
That's right.
And then my serger that I have here, it's normally like the list is about $2,000, and on our website we have it for about $1,000 free shipping, and you can finance that for 6 months, and that's $166 per month. And then the pre-order, of course, for the Platinum Edition. So thank you so much, Tim. It's always great to have you on the show, and I always learn so much from you.
Well, thank you, Barb. I enjoyed it. We'll have to do this again sometime soon.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. So let's take a little detour on over to our Sew Forum page. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you Sew Forum, because we had a very fun let me just bring this over here because I think that'll be easier to do it that way. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you this fun video that we had on our that we shared. It's actually one of our friends in Oklahoma. It's another dealer called So Much More, and I think they're in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, but they had a visitor at their store, and check out this car cover. Can you imagine?
And this pulled up. Is it yours? No, she's inside.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know what part of this is not amazing. And she started it in January. I have never seen anything like this. And to think I won't even take the time to sew a cover for my serger.
Yeah, me too. I haven't gotten around to that.
Look at the wheels. Those are not real wheels. Those are quilts.
That is just amazing. Can you believe that? So I went ahead and I thought that that was so super fun. So this is our AllBrands.com Sew Forum page. So if you hop on over there and request to be a member, I'm going to announce a winner tomorrow for a $100 AllBrands.com gift card. So please be a member of our Sew Forum. It's a really fun group, and we want to see what you're working on and all of that. So that gets me to our next contest that we have for tomorrow. If you post, you have another chance to win. So go ahead and post your project after getting on our Sew Forum page, and I'll pick a winner for a $150 AllBrands.com gift card. So I hope you win, and that's going to be great. So thank you so much, everyone. It's so great to see all of your faces again. And see everyone. Christy, and Carolyn, oh my gosh. Yeah, you can't take that out when it rains, but definitely when you go to a quilt shop, that's definitely a spectacle. And June, good to see you again too. And Karen, oh my gosh, and Dinah, y'all are so great. And I hope that you have a very wonderful day. Sewing is so SEW therapeutic, and I think we all need that now. Going into the new year, we have a clean slate of mental what we're going to focus our attention on, and spend your energy making something creative and wonderful that brings you joy and happiness. Why not? So we love y'all so much, and until next time, have a great day. Mwah.